What's up and welcome back to Naptime Builder. We're finally gonna get started back on the 55, okay? I took way too long of a break, but you know, sometimes that honeydew list catch up with you. If you ain't watched them, go watch. I built the kids a wannabe Ninja Warrior playset. Right after that, I jumped on and started building a bougie chicken coop, and it's like an 8x12 chicken coop and a 8x20 run. I mean, the chickens are just all loving it. They're loving it. But it is time to get back on my truck. Here it is, pushing the end of, we're getting closer to the end of April. It's like the 23rd or something like that. Well, I was really hoping to get the old 55 here done for F100 Super Nationals this year in September. There's no possible way it's gonna happen at this point. Overtime's just been crazy at work, and you know, that's life. But we gotta get started back on it. The only panels we have not touched at this point are the front fenders and the hood. Everything else has been sanded down to bare metal, patched where it needed patched, body filled where it needed body filled, and primed with spray can primer. No, that is not the official last thing we're gonna do. You know, I mean, that's not the official primer or whatever. I just did the spray can primer to get them covered and all that, because I knew it was a long process. I wasn't gonna mix up automotive primer and spray each piece here and there and blah, blah, blah and all that. When we get all of them done and ready and everything, we'll go back over everything, hit it with some automotive primer and all that, don't worry. And then go from there. But it is time to hit up these front fenders and hood. The hood's actually pretty straight. It has a little small area across the front of it. Oh, also. Did a video or two on the Jeep. If you ain't watched that, go watch it, okay? She's came a long way. I took 3 or 4 steps forward and then got knocked back about 6 steps, okay? The rear end is no longer attached to the 4-link. Go watch that video. But, y'all give me a like. If you new here, you know, hit that subscribe button. Shoot me a comment, whatever. We're about to get started on some dadgum fenders and a hood. I'm not exactly sure which one's gonna be first. All right, here's what the hood's looking like. And that's the roughest part about it is that little area right there. The rest of the hood, for the most part, looks pretty good. You can tell where there's been a couple spots they've had body filler before. But other than that, it's mostly just some surface rust and all that. But then you got the front fenders over here. That one needs patch down there at the bottom. You know, hammer and dollied a little bit on the front there. But for the most part, I think that one's good. This is the worst part about all of it, right here. And I'm not exactly sure how, well, right here. I feel like it ran into something. And I'm pretty sure it needs patched on the bottom back there also, like the other one. But that right there is what I'm mostly worried about in the whole ordeal. Because I don't know if you've priced any F55 F100 parts lately, but I have. A lot. I want other prices. One fender, they'll want like $350, but then they want another $300 or $350 to ship the dadgum thing. That is absolutely insane. I ain't paying $700 for one fender. It just ain't happening. Sorry. I want it to look good at the end of the day, but you know, $700 for one fender ain't in my budget. Is it in yours? Might be in yours. Ain't mine. Just like them rear fenders. We patched both of them. If I hadn't already had the patches, I would have thought about it. But those was about $700 a daggum fender too. I'm so thankful this thing had all the panels, even though they wasn't perfect panels. I'm glad it had them because we wouldn't be this far if, you know, we needed to get panels. Because your boy broke, okay? I spent a lot of money on car parts and it's not even paying $700 for a panel, so. Anyways, let's stop complaining about prices. We all know everything's dadgum went up, and she is 70-year-old, so I mean, I understand the thing ain't the cheapest thing around, but at the same time, I mean, you know, shut up and get to work. All right, y'all, just got these two emblems off. All it was is I had this little small, very thin thing here, and on the other side it has the same thing, but that bolt broke, and after looking at it, well, took that off. This wasn't even attached to the Ford like it's supposed to be. Well, it has these little pins, and they're in some kind of a little retainer thing that keeps pressure in the hole. As you can see, half of them's bent and everything. Also, I had one that was already broke off on this side, and I had one that was broke off on that side. I'd say somebody probably tried to take the emblems off of this at one point in time, realized they was destroying them while they was taking them off, so they just left them alone. So, and that thing is warped. How in the world does that even happen? So I was gonna save these and then just kind of give them a light sanding to smooth them out and just paint them black for the paint theme I'm thinking. But since these are in so rough a shape, they do make these. I'm sure they're not the cheapest thing ever, but you know, nothing is. A whole lot cheaper than $700 fenders, I'll tell you that dadgum much. How about that? And barely put any pressure on that front emblem, and both of those broke off, so, yeah, no. Yes. We'll be getting that one too, eventually. All right, let's break out one of my favorite tools. I wonder how big the wheel is on it, or if I'm gonna have to change it right off. I might be able to use it a little bit anyways. That has become one of my favorite tools. I got so tired of using the, look at that. I got so tired of using the angle grinder with the sanding disc just to get paint and stuff off body panels. It would leave huge, like, I don't know, just like grooves in the metal, for lack of better words, like swirl marks, all that kind of crap. So, got tired of it, found that thing. Game changer, okay? The metal is like so smooth underneath after you get done and everything. It's awesome. So, it still takes a while. I feel like it takes longer than the angle grinder, but a lot better starting point when you get done. So. And this right here alone is 47 minutes worth of work. 47 minutes. That is completely ridiculous, okay? I need a daggum, we call them. Strips the paint off with sandblaster. Yeah. I was fixing to say strips the paint off with sand, and then it hit me. Yeah, heck yeah, I finally got it, boy. I need a daggum sandblaster. This is ridiculous. There is no telling the amount of hours I have spent on this truck over here that don't even look like a freaking truck, just stripping paint. I need a sandblaster. I really do. That would make this so much faster. I might have to see about that. But for now, I guess we continue. Alright, y'all. I'm back. It's been a few days, okay? I kind of got sidetracked, started working on my second gen Dodge a little bit. But look at her. She's sitting right now. She bumpy as crap, but she's sitting right now. Looks like it's about to start raining. Wind blowing like crazy. Let me get inside. Whoop. Sorry about that. Forgot I had the music playing out here. Alright, look, y'all. A few days ago, I spent right at an hour just to get this section right here down to bare metal. That is driving me crazy. There's no telling the amount of hours that I have spent sanding down to daggum bare metal. And I told y'all I need a daggum sandblaster. Well, I'm cheap, okay? So I've got a used sandblaster over there. Tires are flat. There's still material in it. But I'm gonna see if she'll work, okay? So I'm gonna set the phone down for a few minutes, let my air compressor build up. We're gonna tinker that thing for a few minutes, see if we can get anything to happen. Because even if I went through a whole lot of material, it would be so much faster and probably even better than what I've been doing. So I've got to figure something out, because if you've been around a little bit, I've showed you here and there all the daggum project vehicles that I've got waiting in line after the ones I'm working on, okay? I'm gonna need a whole lot of crap blasted down to bare metal. I would rather not have to use an angle grinder with a sanding disc, or my big old wheel thing over surface, what is it, metal surfacing tool, whatever you call the daggum thing, okay? We gotta find a faster way. So, all right, here she is, got the tires aired up. You know, I can't hear them leaking, so that's good. At least it'll hold it for a little bit. So, this is the contraption. I kind of feel, though, I feel like there's something missing here. Right? Am I right there? I feel like there's something missing. So, my luck, this probably isn't going to work. But we're going to try it out. See if I can do it one-handed here. Woo. There we go. All right. I'm not sure why there's a hole in the pipe, but it looks like it's made to be like that. Nothing but air. I wonder if, like I said, this has been in here for a very long time. I wonder if it's stopped up down at the bottom or anything. So I need... Alright, she's emptied into a old cat litter box. Does look like... A little crustiness there. Maybe some of that made its way down in the hose. Thinking maybe I can undo this hose right here and shoot air back up in it. That way, whatever is hopefully down in there stopping it up can blow up, or you know, I can try it the other way too, blow it out. Let's try that. All right, so I tried blowing back through this hose, and all the air was just coming out that hole right there, so it wasn't even coming up through there. So I took this hose off, blew through it, you know, just to make sure. I just blew through this right here with my finger over this hole, blowing, and it was definitely blowing a good amount of air up through there. I feel like that hole right there needs to be covered up. All right, I couldn't push that hose up far enough, so you know, a couple layers of painter's tape there just to block the hole. Now I'm gonna blow air back through this, making sure it comes up through here and, you know, not out other areas. All right, well, I got her hooked back up, blew air through there, none's getting through because of the painter's tape. I poured a little bit of stuff in here. This is the front and rear end that came out of my 55 originally. Obviously, she's got some rust on her, so we're gonna see if it does anything. Now remember, nothing was coming out before except for air. Well, I mean, she's taking that rust off her and getting her down. You're starting to see some bare metal there. I mean, surely that coated in rust right there is worse than the paint in there on that hood, right? Now, I can't help but feel that there's something missing on the gun part of it. I don't know exactly, but it is pulling out the sand now and shooting it, and it's cleaning it. I feel like it would do better if I had whatever parts was missing off of the gun portion of it, though. So I don't know. If I'm being quite honest, I didn't expect this to work. So I do have one other option that I bought if this ends up not being good enough. Let me grab that. Here is what I bought off of the old Amazon. Just what I got here. Alright, so that hose there hooks to this right here. This where I'm tapping there. Obviously you'll have a hose clamp on it. The other end of that hose clamp slides on the end of here, another hose clamp. That end hooks up to your pressure washer. And obviously you stick the other end of that down in the sand or media blast and stuff, whatever. And these are some tips. I don't have those on that. So whatever the end of that is that holds different tips and all that, I would say that's what I'm missing for that over there. But I mean, she was working. I feel like it could work better, but it was working. But obviously, like I said, you hook this up to your pressure washer, so you'd be messing with water and the sand at that point. And then the power of the pressure washer would be shooting out the sand and water and all that. I mean, look at the bright side. You'd be washing it off at the same time. I have heard you will have sand everywhere, though, so suit up as good as you can with that one. But, I mean, honestly, just a couple seconds I was doing that and over there, I mean, it was bouncing back, hitting me in the face. I had my safety glasses on, don't worry. Alright, y'all. I now have sand everywhere, especially in my beard, I'm sure. I can feel it. It's been just pelting me in my face this whole time. You need a full face mask. It'd be a little bit more comfortable, you know what I'm saying? But, I mean, here's what we got. I just looked at the time on that video. And I started the video before I even walked over and pulled it over here. We're looking like 6.5 minutes, okay? And here's what we got. So I told y'all, from the center, around through here, and just up there, took me 47 minutes with my toes. Don't get me wrong, it looks good. She's shiny, she's smooth bare metal. I got right here, around through here, all the way back there. 6.5 minutes. The only reason I stopped, air compressor. So, what are we taking out of this? Well, what I'm taking out of this is that air compressor gonna be slowing me down. She only a 20 gallon, I think. So she can only stay at 100 PSI for, well, about 6.5 minutes. But I'm a fan. If I didn't have to worry about the air compressor and waiting on it to build back up and all that, this would be a very, very good thing for time. I am curious though. I ain't got to worry about air pressure with that other little thing. As long as my waters are flowing and my little electric pressure washer is running, it'll be fine. All right, got a little thing put together here. Hose on the end of that. What? That's connected to that pipe that I showed you. Same way that is connected to the pressure washer. Pressure washer's plugged up. Water is on. Now turn this baby on and see what we can do. I'm gonna try to time it around 6.5, 7 minutes and stop and look, just to honestly just kind of see how much further along we get. All right, so that was a big fail. I didn't get anything to come out of the pressure washer one. I may be doing something wrong. Have to look at the instructions a little bit better, but it's pretty simple to put together. And I feel like I have the thought of the way it works in my head and everything, but it wasn't working. And I wasted like 5 or 6 minutes on it. Not the first bit of sand come out. So my pressure washer, or my air compressor is built back up now. I'm just gonna go back to it, see what we can get done before we gotta go get to this. What's up, y'all? This is nap time now. Them last couple clips was this morning. I got out here like 4 o'clock. I didn't do no talking. I just took a couple clips, showed you what I was doing. Yeah, I trimmed her up a little bit too. So we got all the paint off of the top of the hood. Now I got her flipped over, about to start it. As you can hear, I got sand and what was it? Coal slag everywhere. I got a couple windows open for a little ventilation. About to put my mask back on, get back after it. Air compressor just built back up. I don't know, there's a lot of roughness under the hood here. So I probably will have to use my tool over there in some places, but hopefully at least help me get in them areas where the tool can't get. So we're gonna see what we can do. It's gonna take me forever. Just using this 20-gallon air compressor that I've got, it's not it's not really making it that fast. It does keep me from having to hold that tool for hours and hours and my daggum arm's giving out, but you know, it's whatever. We'll get there eventually. This crap takes a while, so you know, I'll catch back up with you later. Possibly when all the paint is completely off and we can actually start working on the couple bad spots of the hood. What's up, y'all? It has been, golly, it's been like a week. I've been working so much overtime. We've had ball games out the yin yang. I just ain't had time for nothing. But yesterday, I only worked a partial day overtime, so I come back out. Finally got the hood down to bare metal. She ain't, that's surface rust and has a bunch of dings and everything. Man, I woke up this morning at 3 o'clock. That's usually where I get up at on day shift anyways. But I got up at 3. I was determined to get out here as quick as possible. Got me a cup of coffee. Come out here. I sat right there in that daggum Corvette seat, drinking my coffee, listening to a little music, trying to get pumped up. Well, apparently I didn't get pumped up. I got pumped down because by the time I took that last sip of coffee, I dozed off. And here we are 2 hours later. I'm struggling. I need to get rid of them seats. They're too comfortable. But here's what we got. I got her down to bare metal. There is that big old ding there. And then I have to tap that down. Let's see here. There's a few other dings. There's a slight small spot there. There's one there. And there. You got a couple little pinholes. And in here, but then you got this rusted area. I'll have to cut a spot out here, see if we can get a little piece to patch it. Dings. Have to tap that down, I guess. But that's where we're at. And I guess I'm about to go through with a body hammer. The ones that are raised up, tap them down a little bit, because obviously I gotta tap them down to be able to smooth the area. Tap them down enough, we can do a very light thin of body filler, The bigger ones, I might come in from the backside and tap them and try to knock them out a little bit. That way we don't have to use as much filler. But then that rust down there, I'm gonna have to cut out a section. Cut me a little piece of metal, try to tack in there and fill that up, all that jazz. So I ended up just using finishing up using my angle grinder with sanding disc on it. It was just so much quicker. I'm new to the little sand blaster and all that, as you've seen. It just wasn't working out for me all the best. Plus, I only have a 20-gallon air compressor over there, so that might be part of my problem. But we'll go through with a body hammer, try to tap some of these down, tap some out. Then try to find us a piece of metal, cut a small slither, and see if we'll be able to tack that in. My goodness. And after that, go over it again, see what we got, sling some body filler on it, hopefully before the day's up, is what I would like to do. Got one fender over there. Once I get to the point of body filler on this, I'll probably go ahead and start sanding the paint off of the fender. The only reason you see one fender is, well, I got an order coming from LMC. Not exactly sure when it's going to get here. But I know in a couple videos I've showed this other fender. But right above or around the headlight area here, there's this big caved in spot, and it's pretty deep, and it's messed up down here pretty good too. I don't feel personally like I would ever be able to get that to where it looked good at all, really. So I bit the bullet and I ordered a fender. I ordered a tailgate. I ordered a roll pan, and also I ordered inner fenders for the front, because those are rusted so much they're trashed. So can't do a whole lot with that. I've been trying to buy as least new parts as I can, trying to use original stuff, because if you ever worked on a 55 Ford, them parts is expensive, man. So I'm gonna shut up talking because my voice is getting on my daggum nerves right now. So let's get after it. All right, y'all, it's been a few days. We've had worked a bunch of overtime and, a bunch of baseball games, and we still ain't done. We got the tournaments next week. Been sanding on this thing, put a little fiberglass in some spots. I do have one other little spot I got to put just a touch more body filler in. Other than that, the outside of the hood is pretty doggone smooth. Don't pay attention to them boxes just yet. That fender right there, I told y'all before I was gonna order a passenger fender because it was caved in right above the headlight housing there. Well, I started sanding that fender down while I was waiting on some Bondo and stuff to dry, or air compressor to build up, one of the two the other day. There was so much daggum body filler on that panel over there, or on that fender over there. It was caked on, I'm telling you. Somebody's icing the cake right now. It's rough. So we scratched that, and I ended up throwing driver fender in the order also. I have 3 massive boxes over here. You can't see the other one that's behind that big one right there. Let me see. This is driver fender. Down in there, we got a passenger fender. That box right there is the tailgate. That box down in there, further down in there, there's a roll pan. This box right here, that's 2 inner fenders, according to the boxes. But this looks like an inner fender also. They might have gave us an extra, or I might have ordered an extra, who knows. Hopefully it's them giving me an extra. Yeah, don't look at that. But, yeah. Them came in yesterday, after I'd already left the house. It was freight shipping. I have an easy access driveway, and these idiots left $2,000 worth of truck parts sitting at the very end of the driveway, right next to the road. I live on the back roads. Don't they know these crackheads live around here? There's crackheads everywhere. I don't care. Whether you know about them or not, there's crackheads. And I'm about dang positive I live pretty close to some crackheads, a mile or so down the road anyways. Luckily, I got a good neighbor that I work with. And he seen them, sent me a picture. And I about lost my mind while I was at the ball field. And he moved them up into the carport for me. So, big shout out to Greg. You probably don't watch his videos, but I appreciate you, buddy. But before we can move on to all that, I've got to finish this hood, throw a little spray can primer on it, and at least get it moved up out the way. We're just going to throw wet fenders somewhere with the other one, get them out of my way because we're not using them. Probably won't do much with that, okay? That just happened to come in finally. When I get this hood primered, thinking about grabbing the grill and the little front valance down there, get them sanded down, throw a little primer on them. Like I said, get these 2 fenders out the way, the inner fenders over yonder out the way because they're trash. That's what we're working on, okay? Oh dang, looking at the looking back, I did accidentally order 2 of the left side inner fenders. What a dummy, okay? What a dummy. Hopefully we can ship that back somehow. Man, big idiot. Pitiful. All right, y'all. I flipped her over, got the inside primed. Yes, I use rattle can primer, okay? I've got a filtration system for the air compressor. You know, from the old Amazon. I just ordered it, so no, it's not here yet. But, you know, that way we'll have it before we ever try to do any with a spray gun, okay? So right now we're gonna spray cans. Now I'm burning up, fat boy sweating. She's still wet, okay? Unfortunately, I'm in a little bit of a hurry. I gotta go get ready for work. I've been off for a week. Time to start some night shift. So here's what we got. Like I said, she's still wet. You know, it's crazy. Once you throw a little bit of primer or something on there, you finally find like a little small ding here or there. Or you see a couple little, what do they call them? It ain't pinholes, is it? It might be, whatever. But you know what? That's something we can address after the fact. Of this point anyways. And, this right here is 10 billion times better than she was to begin with. And dare I say, less body filler is in it than it was before also. I tapped a couple of the bigger dents out, and obviously you tap them out, you got to use less filler. So, you know, mine's pretty thin to where before it was just caked in there. Definitely it was caked in there. It was rough. Anyway, she's looking a heck of a lot better. That's another step. That's a big body. That's a big body pound, you know. That's a lot of progress. So now, While air compressor was building up a while ago, I did go ahead and knock some paint off of the grill. So here's what she's looking like now. She needs some more attention, obviously, after that's dry. That right there is beat up, man. Maybe I can take a hammer and a dolly and make it look a little bit better. I'm trying not to buy every daggone body panel, okay? That right there's a lot of money in them boxes. Parts for a 55 is expensive. But I just went through with the sanding wheel on the, I call them flap attacks. Went through with the flap attack on my angle grinder. Knocked all that off. Obviously needs more sanding and work done, okay? Ain't nobody trying to say that right there's ready for nothing. She got a bunch of dings. We might have to smear a little bit of putty on her. Body filler. I ain't no professional, as you can tell. So don't be expecting a professional job when she's done. As long as she look kind of nice from about 25 foot away, I'm good with it. You're closer than 25 feet, you're too close anyways, okay? Golly, I gotta go take a shower. We'll catch y'all. Hopefully tomorrow them kids let me come out here and work on that. Grill and stuff. If not, I'll be working on a blueberry planter. You know. So we'll catch y'all then. And here is the next day. Just look at her. Don't she look beautiful? You know, she ain't perfect, but she looked pretty good for a old boy in his backyard garage with some spray paint primer, okay? There you go. Now, y'all, I wanted to get more done in this video, but as you've seen, I had a few trials and tribulations. I had a few things I tried and they didn't work out for me, like the sandblaster and all that. I really think on that part, I probably just need a bigger air compressor. Speaking of air compressor, though, I did order a filtration system for it. I've been having so much water coming through the air lines. Up until here recently, I hadn't never really had an air compressor and used it no real length of time, you know. So I'm starting to see what people talk about with all the water and all that mess. And so we got that on the way. Hopefully it comes in here in the next day or two. And I guess really this hood's about all we're going to get done in this video, because next video I need to jump on that grill and that lower front valance there. That thing is hammered up, man. I'm really hoping I can save it, but she's pretty beat. But we're going to do what we can do and make her look the best we can. But I just want to say thanks for everybody that watched the video. I know most of you ain't going to make it this far. Last couple videos, average was only like a couple minutes, you know. I'm not that entertaining. I'm just trying to show you what I got going on. Maybe I need to loosen up a little bit and try to have more fun with it or something. I don't know. I'm just always in a pinch for time, and when you're in a pinch for time, you don't really make everything all lighthearted and fun and goof around and all that. So we're trying to get better over here, y'all. Also, at the moment, we're up to like 599 subscribers. I just want to say I appreciate each and every one of you. I think most of them pretty much just watches my shorts and everything. But, you know, if you're watching the longer form videos, then I appreciate you even more, you know. Really want to try to hit 1,000 subscribers this year, so I'm going to have to get off my butt and try a little bit more, you know. Off my butt. Oh, also, y'all guys, I used to think, oh, you need a couple seats in your shop, you know. You don't. If y'all been around, if y'all some OGs and been around since we chopped up the old Corvette and put that Corvette motor in my dad's Firebird, then this is where them seats is from. I've loved these seats ever since. These mugs is comfortable. My wife's caught me asleep in them a couple times. sit down for a few minutes to let the air compressor build up or to let the dust settle or, clear out the shop, something, that'll be gone. So I just want to let y'all know. You don't need it. I need to get rid of them. I need to put them in something. That way I can't just sit in them whenever I want to, okay? But I really appreciate y'all. We'll catch y'all next time. We're going to be back on some more body work. We're going to be getting into these boxes, seeing what they're all about. Working on that grill, working on that front valance. And hopefully for too long we can make this old truck over here. Oh, look, you can't even see the truck for all the boxes. Hopefully we can get this old truck back into shape. So I just want to say I really appreciate y'all. We'll catch y'all next time.